Welcome everyone. My name is Rikard Engberg and I'm an equity research analyst here at Carnegie Bank. With me I have Jesica Skon, CEO of BTS, who has reported the third quarter earnings today. Jessica, welcome.
Thank you.
So, my first question is, can you please summarize the development in the quarter? What industries has been driving and what geographies has been driving the growth year on year?
Yeah, well, I'll start with other than the big news, basically. BTS other markets grew 16%, 8% was organic. BTS North America, the biggest market, which is 50% of the revenues, grew 6%. But the big upswing of the third quarter, the big news is BTS Europe, which has rebounded and is back to growth, growing 5%. In terms of the industries, if we start with Europe, we saw faster growth in the energy sector there, as well as actually a return to growth in professional services clients, which is pretty interesting. In North America, the faster growth is coming from the pharma and biotech industry, and honestly, most of the world is so geographically diverse that the growth across the industries was diverse as well.
And if we talk about Europe, since you saw a decline year on year in the second quarter, and now you have returned to growth year on year in the third quarter, what have you done to achieve this development, since it was a quite steep decline year on year in Q2?
Yeah, it was negative 20 plus, right? And now it's up 5. Two things impacting it. First of all, I would say the clients, there was a lot of projects delayed in the second quarter, right? More than we were anticipating. The good news is those clients kept those projects and a lot of the work is being done now in the third quarter. So the delay, now they're doing the work. Secondarily and more proactively on our part, it's been 4 or 5 quarters now of getting everybody to be close to the client. We're measuring the number of meetings, number of conversations, broadening the portfolio in the different existing accounts, and it's working. I mean, the number of opportunities is up, the deal flow is up, and it's great that the projects that were delayed are happening.
And there are still projects that were delayed that are still going to be active, so to say?
I think they've all been started now.
Okay,
so
great.
Yeah.
And if we move to the US market, can you please explain the development there and a bit of the temperature on that market now in Q4/end of Q3?
Yeah, 6% growth in the North American market in the third quarter. A faster growing part of the portfolio was actually our executive coaching arm. That was from the Boda acquisition about a year ago. It continues to perform really well. In terms of the temperature of the market, it's been quite an interesting week, not to say the least, and in the third quarter and now into the fourth quarter. I guess as a general sentiment, across the industries in North America in the third quarter, we still experience kind of the wait and see attitude. I mean, the team definitely won new work, they won strategic work, average deal size is increasing, but you still have this kind of hesitancy around wait and see until the election, and now the election is in early November, obviously in the fourth quarter, and that's continued through now. In addition, I would say that there's still a high priority, high focus on cost control in the North American market. Even though many companies and industries are seeing profit increasing. Yeah, so still a bit conservative, third quarter.
And looking at the full year, you're keeping your guidance for the full year. What would you say are the main drivers in order to reach this guidance?
I would say it's the increased growth in Europe.
Okay, great. And looking at the last couple of quarters, we have seen single-digit organic growth. What do you think the keys are to come back to double-digit growth organically?
Yeah, well, first of all, that's the number one priority, is getting back to double-digit organic growth. The keys to doing it, number one, we want to increase the number of sellers we have, the number of account managers, right? And the ways that we do that is we grow the talent up in their careers and help them do that. Number two, we bring in senior talent who can already sell. Right, and in addition to increasing the number of sellers, we're working on always improving the culture to be kind of a client relationship culture, right? So as opposed to do the work and then try to find the new deal, it's building the relationships while we're doing the work, being at the client site and all of that. And then, of course, you have the pricing discipline moving into next year, which helps as well. I think the third priority on getting back to organic growth is just continuing to make sure that the full portfolio is getting introduced to the accounts, so the average deal size goes up and average account size growth, and the overall competitiveness of the priority of the portfolio, which I actually believe is quite strong at the moment. We just need to bring it into the clients.
And that leads on to my next question. So how is the recruitment climate on the market right now?
I mean, I in a way, I guess it's a buyer's market, right? And We've recruited the most in our highest growth areas, which is the Middle East primarily and Southeast Asia, although Europe and North America have also brought in partner level people into the firm this year from different competitors, which has been really nice. We've acquired more kind of full-time salespeople as well in different practice areas, and we've got some great talent coming in, and yeah, it's good.
Okay, great. And we've talked about the journey towards double-digit organic growth. Now let's talk about the journey towards the profitability target.
Yeah.
What would you say be the main drivers here?
Double-digit growth. I mean, that's number one. I think we've done a good job of the last 2 years of efficiencies and cost control and, all of that. That said, there's still plenty we can do, right? And so for sure, though, number one is double-digit organic growth. In addition, there are still parts of BTS's back-end operations that could be much more automated, right? So there's some work going there and figuring out how to do that. We've done such a good job of continuously improving the global teamwork, so the sharing of talent on projects across the countries based on getting the best team on the client work and mentoring and apprenticeship, that if that just continues, we save on external spend. There's efficiencies in that. It helps to balance out, capacity issues across the group, so we'll continue to do that. And then there's obviously the pricing discipline and then the growth in our subscription services. Because when clients are investing in our subscription offering, they are typically doing things themselves, which is higher margin.
Great. And you've done 2 acquisitions quite recently.
Yeah.
So can you please talk a bit about them and how the integration has been going?
Yeah, I'm happy to. One is geographical and the other one is strengthening the portfolio. So on the geographical acquisition, we have a team in Thailand. They're a great team, and we just acquired the market leader in our space in Thailand. They have relationships with the biggest company CEOs. They do top to bottom change work. They also do leadership development, and the integration there is absolutely on track. So the culture and the spirit is high. The teams are now co-located. Yeah, that one's going well. The other acquisition is totally different, right? It was a small tech team out of Europe. They invented a AI-based, basically, technology or offering, which is subscription. And the idea of this bot, if you will, is it plugs into Zoom and Teams and listens to whatever it's listening to. So it listens to client conversations or meetings, and it gives immediate assessment, coaching, and feedback on how the sellers are performing in the client meeting against the most important strategies and sales plays of the client's organization. And in terms of the integration of the Wonderway company, the Verity product, I have to say I think it's going really well in the first couple months. Number one, we have clients that went live in all 3 of the units, so Europe, North America, and BTS other markets. And what's interesting is what's coming out of the trials with those companies. In one pharma bio company, the client got a taste of it, they used it, and they're asking us if we would consider building 30 bots for them. Each one is custom for their specific go-to-market account needs, because they want to go to market in a unique way. So that's what happened in one. The other one is a big CPG global company. They went straight to custom bot, and the third one is using it the way it was intended. So the company's platform will not only deliver the subscription tool, but we can also drum up custom bots and also sell those as subscriptions. So that's what we've learned in the first couple months of integration.
So I know it's still early days about Verity and the bots, but will they add a subscription part to revenues, basically as software revenue?
Yes. Both are being sold as subscription.
Okay, great. And yeah, can you also elaborate a bit about the go-to-market strategy for these projects?
Sure. For the bots and the Verity product?
Yeah, both, I guess.
Sure, and we can almost lump them into the same category. I think what we did well with Verity is we created basically a global tiger team, and the tiger team is primarily from our sales and marketing practice, because that's what that product will be used the most for. So we have kind of co-owners who are sharing in the responsibility of bringing it to market in all 3 markets. And that's what's working. So they just very naturally are bringing it into the clients. They're role models for their peers. And the client reactions are, wow, BTS, you're like leading edge when it comes to AI at the intersection of the portfolio and what we're looking for. And we can build these together, experiment with them together. And that was the go-to-market approach.
Oh, great. And finally, Can you talk a bit about the reversed earnout provisions that you have done during this year?
Sure. All three, or?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's actually two different stories.
Yeah.
So the first two belong in one story, and then the recent one called Netmind is the second story. Most of the time when BTS makes acquisitions, we believe in an earnout approach, right? And it's typically 80% of the potential value of the acquisition is earned on average over 3 years. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4. In the first two cases, they were big success stories. They grew, they generated profit, their profit grew, but the amount of earnout that they received, let's say, was 90% of the plan or 80% of the plan or something. So founders were happy, it was a success, but we had accrued for slightly more, right? That's what those two were about. This one in Netmind is a different story. This is a simple story of the target and the plans that we had created with the founders are not met. More specifically, the first year that the company was acquired, they actually declined in revenue but maintained profit, decent amount of profit. Second year, they were flat and kept that profit, which was helpful. But this year and the third year, they went to profit neutral. And so this, at this moment, is basically when we can see with total certainty that they will not achieve their earnout because of the adding up of the 3 profit streams compared to what was left in the earnout. So then we write it down. Yeah.
Great. Jessica, thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming here to Carnegie, and thank you everyone who's been watching and listening.